Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We have a PTA, a Paul Thomas Anderson week here, folks. So, we are jumping back to 2012 to cover The Master. We then have 2014's Inherent Vice, 2017's Phantom Thread, and finally, now in theaters, newly released, One Battle After Another. Again, these are all Paul Thomas Anderson. We will have him completed on the site, which is very exciting. Let's get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he has to say. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing over there, my friend?
Tommy boy, pretty good week, huh?
Pretty good week,
here.
pretty exciting week.
Yeah. Really enjoyed this week. I mean, this was something I was looking forward to, especially just like, just the quality of movies that we're dealing with on this week. Really good, great stuff. So, it would be it'd be understating it to say that One Battle After Another is hyped. I mean, is hyped beyond hype.
Boy, is it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's really... Now, the thing is, what are you hearing buzz on? To me, it's a lot of the critics. Like, I don't know what the audience is really thinking of the movie.
Yeah.
It just seems like all the directors, for some reason, it's like written in law, they have to sound off on it.
You're right.
And all the major critics are the ones driving it right now.
Yep.
And I don't know if we're gonna see if it makes a difference in the weekend, like how much of that box office can come back the next weekend. Like, what's the drop-off gonna be?
Sure.
Because like when Sinners came out, I felt like the people were freaking out.
Yes.
With the critics.
Yep. This, maybe not so much.
Is that where you're getting to? I mean,
one thing that kind of opened my eyes to that a little bit is that as far as like, and not that it's maybe like a good barometer of a movie, but like the general like Google reviews, in the search algorithm itself, there was a lot of 1 stars. Like,
no, there were not.
Yeah. So I think, if we're looking for like what mass appeal looks like, I do look to that type of spots. You know, I looked at like IMDb ratings. I look to, different like user scores only. And that was, I don't know, concerning. I feel like maybe there is a gut reaction for the appearance of how political it is. That people are just kind of like, they don't want to stomach that right now. But like I was saying in the review, definitely it deals with a lot of politics. I don't think the movie is inherently political because of just like how much of a blood feud it is. It's a vendetta film.
Yeah.
It's personal.
And I really liked hearing he has been working on this for years.
Yes.
So I was listening to an interview with him, and he said he remembers writing things for this movie in the 1990s.
Whoa.
In 1999.
Wow.
So and he goes, and some of it lasted. Like what he wrote down and what the story elements were made it even all the way down to the film. So just to see how topical it is, but yet this is something he was working on decades ago, is cool because it makes it timeless in a weird kind of, I don't know, dystopian way.
Yeah. And that's where it was such a unique movie as well. I feel like it was a breath of fresh air for 2025, which has been like a lot of misses on the movie front. Other media, I wouldn't say that's the case. Like video games are having a pretty good, phenomenal year.
The TV's still hot right now.
Yeah, TV's still hot. For some reason, movies have been kind of stumbling a little bit, and I feel like this was finally something I was just like, wow, this is something that at least I'm going to like straight up remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, we got a lot of movies to talk about, even though it's only a 4 slot. These are some big movies.
I know.
I have, I guess, some brief trailer talk, but maybe we can save that for the end or another
No,
episode.
just do it now. Just
right now?
Yeah, I usually just say go for the trailer talk now.
All right.
What do you got?
Rapid fire, I think Good Fortune, the Guardian Angel movie with Keanu.
Oh, yes.
Looks oddly funny. I mean, I'm kind of into that. The Bride, which is the Bride of Frankenstein movie. I more so bring this up because I forgot to mention this when we were talking about Del Toro's Frankenstein.
Yes. Yeah. I remembered it too, but it's just like...
Yeah, it just looked very... I did not expect that at all. I don't know if it's going to be good or not.
And it comes out next year.
Yeah. I think it's like May or something like that.
But nothing
June.
like that double dose. These people are always stepping on each other's toes.
Exactly.
Guillermo del Toro, second time.
So true.
With Pinocchio.
So true.
And you had the Disney Plus Pinocchio with Tom Hanks.
Let's see if he comes out
and
on
Zemeckis.
top. Yeah. Bride looks way different than anything I expected, though. It looks almost like I don't know. It looks like it's just like very loosely adapting.
Yes.
Frankenstein as like a mythos, looking to almost like have fun in the world. Last one, me and Emerald Fennel, not we don't really see eye to eye.
No.
But Wuthering Heights looks pretty good. I think it visually, and this is all off a trailer, so it could all just be like sizzle shots. These aren't like the majority of the shots in the film, but it looks like she's trying to adapt the aesthetic of paperback romance novels into the visuals of her film, like very romantic, almost like dime a dozen artistic depictions of like these like romance paperback novels, and kind of incorporating that into the visuals of the film, which I don't know. I think it looks interesting.
Okay, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's kind of more of the same from Emerald Fennel.
Yeah.
And she's really has a lane that she's been in, and I believe...
Which is horny. which is horny movie.
And even the things with this Wuthering Heights coming out, what was the comment she made? There's something about just like, it's exotic and thrilling or something like that. And I was like, yeah, no shit. Of course it is. I mean, you're not...
Yeah, but I like I said, I definitely don't see eye to eye with a lot of her movies. Definitely just kind of building up towards the ending that she wants.
You don't mind them, but you never really buy the hype.
Yeah. Where there is a lot of hype with that, but this I would say look kind of good.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Quick trailer talk.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything on trailer talk. Honestly, I don't think I'm blown away by anything out there.
Just absolutely jaded.
I actually got a little nervous about the Tron trailer. I stayed away from it, and
really?
then of course it was shoved in our face because we saw it together, one battle after another, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if I like where the story is going, but we'll have to see when it comes out.
We'll see.
There's big question marks on that one.
We'll see.
Other than that, once when we wrap up today, we will have all PTA on the site, and we'll have everything covered on the podcast except There Will Be Blood.
Yes, There Will Be Blood, obviously a huge movie. I mean, even bigger than the movies that we're talking about today. I think just deserved of getting its own special.
100%.
So I think beyond that, though, really happy where we're at with this. Wrapping up another director, all works rated on the site.
Yeah,
it's a great feeling.
It is great, and it's PTA. I had a blast this week too.
Yeah,
absolute blast going through and watching these. Watched everything. Jump back to 2012?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. We have Joaquin Phoenix in the room. We have the great Philip Seymour Hoffman, Amy Adams. And this is The Master. So with all these, I'm going to let you take it wherever you want. I'll chime in or just chirp in wherever I feel necessary, whatever, toss it to me, whatever. And most of all, what at least is the framework of The Master? Sure.
So when we first covered PTA in our episode for Licorice Pizza, I remember commenting on that that batch of films was more kind of quote-unquote his normal movies. And I think after There Will Be Blood, the only thing we don't have a review on this week, there's a kind of a shift in tone and quality to his projects that I think, you and I were discussing off mic quite a bit, in that these movies they're all challenging in some way. I think it's also safe to say that this batch of films is a lot more challenging than our first episode. You know what I mean? That first episode seems like a walk in the park compared to these movies. But yeah, just a weird shift. And obviously the main mark in that shift is There Will Be Blood. But there's a lot of pieces out there talking about Paul Thomas Anderson's development as a director. I think this at least is the second of two eras that I see his directing in personally. I don't know. Would you say the same?
I would agree with that. And then, but I was trying to find that whole, we talk about the director's DNA and going back through films and everything. And I start to find stuff with him, and then I'm like, oh, but he also has this, and he also did this. So I agree with you. There's a bit of a tonal switch, big time with The Master. There Be Blood, for sure. But then you go back to Hard 8, and it's like, well, there's some darker, depressing kind of takes a road. It's almost like the Boogie Nights is just such a movie. I don't know. I'm a little perplexed by it, but I just think it's because when you look at these three in a row, when you have The Master, Inherent Vice, and Phantom Thread, we're definitely in a mood. We're in a mood.
We're in a mood. Yeah, whatever mood he was in, we were in it. But yeah, this is a movie I remember seeing in theaters so vividly, though, especially after the hype of There Will Be Blood. This is an original story by PTA, and rather than being based off of a book like we get with a few this week, it was composed from many inspirations. However, it was in part inspired by a novel called V, which shares a common author to this week's movies, Thomas Pynchon. I think it's Pynchon. Pynchon. Pynchon?
Yeah.
But my interest in this originally and still kind of today of where this movie stands is all around PTA, who seems to have who he seems to have his sights on, mainly L. Ron Hubbard, and by extension Scientology. This movie is really the closest thing we could ever get to a psychological drama around its cult origins. And I feel like it's fascinating in a production sense that this was ever allowed to get made. Vincentelli, I got no problem saying that I object to Scientology as like a cult. But I'm not a movie studio, and no less a movie studio in an industry that this group has the most pull in. So apparently it was enough that everyone involved denying Hubbard was the inspiration to this was enough to hold legal action back. But I think it's a huge compliment to Paul Thomas Anderson's writing that the main concern about this movie was revealing too much about the church's beliefs and how that plays into my initial enjoyment and definitely my further enjoyment of this film today. I feel like the control that Scientology has on its narrative around its dealings, however you see that, is secretive. And the fact that this was maybe axed because it gets too close to the truth, I find that very interesting, and it's just really something else from a production standpoint.
Now, when it came out, was it, I don't know the reception when it came out. Was it the same deal of critically praised, hard for audiences?
Oh, yeah.
And, he's never really a box office success.
Sure.
That's a through line with all of his stuff.
Yep.
And not really meant to be, but...
This especially, I don't think, is meant to be either.
Right,
so.
Okay. But it was when it came out, it was like, okay, this is great. Everyone loves PTA, and of course, the two main performances, right?
Absolutely. And that's really where my praise lies. It's for Hoffman, and it's for Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Who else? I refer to as JP as a shorting writing. I don't know if that's acceptable or not. Can we call him JP?
No, I don't know.
All right.
JP's really good.
Yeah. So forgive me if I do say JP, but it's just I was tired of writing Joaquin Phoenix and getting it spelled wrong each time. So, The Master is a story of emotional and psychological manipulation, though, and at the hands of dangerous pseudo-intellectuals preying upon the impressionable, where it kind of follows one of the most chaotic followers they've ever had. This film also shows a kind of a much darker version of post-World War II America, which I find pretty interesting, that offers plenty of opportunity for its veterans, but little help for its most troubled ones, mainly Joaquin Phoenix. And Joaquin Phoenix plays the degenerate wild dog of a man, Freddie Quell, a directionless GI drifter coming out of the war, and a reckless addict, willing to get high in shocking ways. I mean... the chemical hooch this boy makes is something else. And that hooch that he makes oddly opening doors in his life. One of those doors he stumbles through is an elitist group called The Cause, led by the charismatic Lancaster Dodd, played by the great Philip Seymour Hoffman. Mystery swirls around The Cause, mainly because of their hypnotic methods that convince people of their bold claims, unlocking the psyche to travel back into past lives. But under the cold light, it is clear that the group is nothing but a cult of personality that now has Freddy tagging along like a dirty attack dog he is, and a literal pet in so many ways to his new master. I think this movie, just the acting performances, they excel in it.
It's insane.
Yeah. But it comes with a bit of a catch, because I think much like we spoke about with Sean Baker's Florida Project, the performances here can be so genuinely off-putting at times that I really don't blame someone actually like outright hating the movie because they hate the characters. I think Joaquin Phoenix's character in this, you can like outright hate this character.
Yeah.
You know,
at first I wrote down that when you first approach the film, you're scratching your head a little bit.
Yes.
That's one thing, and also you have this feeling like you just if you are passing walking on the street, you want to go to the other side of the street to walk. You have
an excellent
you know what I mean? You have this visceral reaction.
like, get me away from this guy.
And then but then he meets Hubbard. He meets Philip Seymour Hoffman, and it's something that I have here that is just it uncomfortably sucks you in. And you're sucked in.
Yep.
And yet you're uncomfortable for a lot of the film.
Yep.
And afterwards, I needed to watch this one twice. So the first time I watched it, it was honestly it was a little bit too heady for me, or something. I
Especially the ending. Ending is a little unsatisfying. On
yes,
this one, for
and
sure.
I couldn't sink my teeth into it.
Yep.
So I watched it again a couple weeks when you were gone, knowing we were going to cover it. I watched it a couple weeks ago, and really sunk into it. Really understood it, and I was good. I was okay with the ending actually.
Oh, okay,
on the second time around.
Interesting.
So. And I think it's kind of how I feel a lot about his films, that a second watch is necessary. I'm kicking I almost went to go see One Battle After Another again last night, and I could have done it, but it was that runtime, and I just don't know. I just don't know if I can. But I'm kicking myself because I probably needs another watch for me. I'll probably feel different about it after a second one.
Sure.
But that uncomfortability that sticks with you throughout the entire time, and so driven by Joaquin's mania.
Yes.
And
beyond,
yes,
wild, truly wild,
and just making your skin crawl at times. And again, that feeling of I need to stay away from this guy, even when you're just sitting on your couch alone watching it.
Yep.
It is fantastic.
Yep.
The performance is unreal, and when they get together, and then all of a sudden. It doesn't matter who's on screen. You love to watch him. You love to watch Philip Seymour Hoffman, and just the joy of them getting on screen then. Yeah. And it's just a visual feast.
Absolutely.
To enjoy and watch.
Absolutely.
It sucks you in.
Yeah. And I feel like on the the frustrating aspect, I don't blame anyone watching this movie, especially for that first time, where it's like just kind of like a blur of what you're processing a little bit. And being really frustrated even with Hoffman and Phoenix's interaction of just like where so clearly so many characters spotlight what is so painfully obvious about like this is not a good guy that we should be inviting into our family.
Right.
And he just kind of wants to get high with his friend, you know? He just wants to have like a little confidant, you know?
And then I started thinking of these two being the exact same person, really. And we're just seeing the polar opposites of one man.
Yes.
And my second time watching, I was kind of really sinking into that and really enjoying that and how they play together, honestly.
Yeah. But, I mean, as far as Philip Seymour Hoffman, this is one of my favorite performances from him that we get before, again, unfortunately passing away.
How did he not win the Oscar for Best Supporting?
You know, that is a really good question.
His screen time is huge.
Yeah, huge.
He's in it a ton.
He gets his blow-up moments, you know.
And like, he's unreal in it. He's unreal.
So good. I've always seen this character, and it's just reminded me of, like, awkwardly, like when a boss or like a professor or a teacher is put into a corner and they don't want to admit they're wrong, you know what I mean?
Right.
He cannot let the mask down a little bit. But I feel like this is not only one of my favorites from him, I feel like that also includes many Paul Thomas Anderson collabs with him over the years, and you've kind of in Paul Thomas Anderson's work, you see Philip Seymour Hoffman as the chameleon he is, how much he's able to transform from Boogie Nights to this. I mean, you know.
Oh, Something About Mary? I mean,
right.
It's a Moneyball.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy just, it's just, that's the best part about him.
Yeah, all over the place.
His range is truly insane.
Yeah.
And he convinces you.
Yeah.
He really convinces you that he can be this guy.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's shocking to see his range.
Yeah.
By the way, it makes a little bit more sense with the Oscars. Christoph Waltz did win it for Inglourious Basterds.
Well,
I'm sorry, no, Django. Django.
Oh, well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved. I do. I mean, I love him in Django even more. So.
And Christoph, we talk about being we talk about basically being the main role
yeah,
for
real.
chunks of the movie.
For real.
Okay.
But I'm with you as far as like is him selling this role. I mean, he sells the charismatic angle needed for the cult of personality to, the actual kind of, symptom to happen on screen and to sell you on it. I mean,
well, and he's sorry, but he's selling you it. You believe that all these people are being sold on him in the movie.
Yes.
Like if you had a lesser actor or something, you'd just be like, I don't.
Right.
He's not actually a really good leader. He's not the master.
Right.
You're so right where he has it. He has the charisma.
Absolutely. And it's the best moments come from when he's backed into a corner. I mean, the scene where he yells "pig f*** after being confronted in a debate. I mean, it's just so good. So good. Joaquin, though, completely transforms himself for this. My hot take for this whole episode is that Joaquin should have won the Oscar for this and not for Joker in 2017. I mean, I like Joker just fine, but like, if you look at his physicality, so much of his twisted, gaunt look, his chaotic outbursts, it's all right here. Yeah, his walk, I mean, like, it's all right here. I feel like anything he does right in Joker was in a trial run, if not much better in this one.
He really does transform, and maybe almost like if you look at Joaquin Phoenix in interviews, maybe he's just taking his Joaquinism timesing it by 10.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But he really does. He does deserve awards for it.
yeah. It really is something else. Okay,
this
is a good year for the Oscars.
Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln. Again, makes sense.
Yeah, pretty good year for the Oscars.
Joaquin would have won any other year for this performance.
Yeah. And again, if it wasn't for the fact that he wins it for Joker and these performances being so similar in physicality, again, that twisted gauntness to him, unsettling even to look at. I mean, it's just great. It's such a good performance. And, like I said, folks, this character is detestable and maybe could even ruin the experience of the film for you, but it is really just undeniable how intense this performance is. There are countless examples of this. I love when he gets his first job out of the war and he's taking pictures in Sears. That's just an excellent sequence, but in this, he messes up a prison bathroom at one point, and it's one of the best adult tantrums on scene, on film.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's what you're...
I don't know how he doesn't really, hurt himself.
I remember watching it for the first time, and I'm going, holy shit. How he's really doing it.
He slams his back into a collapsible bed, like a fold-out bed, I don't know, 7 times, and it's, harder each time. It's a wild performance.
The way he's dragged in there.
Yeah.
I love that scene, too, when Philip Seymour Hoffman finally nabs at him. He's just like, you're such a child. They go off at each other.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was in the script. I think that was actually kind of a natural thing that they did. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And their dynamic just being such a highlight between these two. I mean, not only are they individually excellent performances, but the areas between these two and how they interact, just excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the main theme, that DNA I was talking about with Paul Thomas Anderson, that I realized in a lot of his films, at least, not all of them, but a lot of them, you have phenomenal duos, phenomenal dual performances that share a lot of the screen time.
Sure.
So obviously There Will Be Blood is just such a platform for Day-Lewis to go crazy.
Yep.
But you think about Licorice Pizza, where we have the main love interest. You think about One Battle After Another. There's a big thing even with Leo and wife or Leo and daughter.
Yep.
Phantom Thread, obviously, too. He really is great at getting two people together and getting great performances.
Absolutely. I also think this has one of 2 soundtracks this week that I would call really near perfection, with all 4 of the films this week done by composer and Radiohead music director Johnny Greenwood.
He's a drummer too, I believe. He's a drummer for yeah.
I mean, really, really interesting. I think when I first saw this movie, it felt like the music was maybe fancy or highbrow for the sake of it. But each rewatch, I appreciate the score of this so much more. I just love the swirling flutes, how many tracks feel like they kind of spiral up endlessly, almost to the point of it feels a little maddening at times. It's like a twisted academic breakthrough, this whole soundtrack, and I just love it to death. I feel like the music in the film matches both the awakening of Joaquin Phoenix's character, but also that disorienting feeling that he has, whether he's maybe a little insane, maybe he's that scarred mentally from his life in the war. The experiences of entering into this world that he is very clearly just doesn't belong in. I feel like that mix of it, the music really brings it home, because it's not like my first reaction, fancy for fancy's sake, or dealing with elites so you have Baroque sounding music. No, the music is a little twisted itself.
Yeah, it's fine tuned.
Yeah.
To just match everything and really heighten it. I mean, the music through, because it is every film that he did this week, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He is very good. Johnny Greenwood is very good at. I just think they found a really good stride, the two of them, PTA and him, working to get the sense of it where. Everybody's just like, oh, what's the vibe of it? You got the vibe of the film really good. I don't like saying that because that sounds so cheap. There's so much more going on here.
Yeah.
But there's something about that they heighten each other. I think the music heightens the movie, and the music heightens, and the movie heightens the music, kind of. Yeah. And they're just intertwined kind of beautifully. Absolutely.
I would say this and Phantom Thread, really just like near perfect as far as how they're implemented. And I love when the tracks that play with Phoenix and Hoffman when they kind of sneak away to get high with each other off of, again, this nightmare hooch that they drink. I mean, that's
it's crazy.
This is like, whoa, it's like paint thinner and film development fluid. It's like, whoa. These moments, they feel boyish, a boyish distraction from the facade that Hoffman's character has to put on. I mean, just really, really excellent. But if there was a reason why I was excited for this week, though, it is because Paul Thomas Anderson's filmmaking is incredible, and specifically why I've always considered this film as a must-watch. An early example of this is a flashback dream sequence with a creepy modern Joaquin Phoenix, side by side with a 16-year-old love interest. And even watching it this time, I look at this scene and I wonder, is this a failed production trick? Were they trying to make him look young? Or was this an intentional decision? Did it want to lean into the creepiness of Joaquin remembering this and being transported back as gross as he is in modern day, as broken as he is in modern day? And I feel like just across the board, wherever you land on that, you know the scene I'm talking about.
I do. I took it as I took it as just his dirty character. I think him being much older than this girl, he would absolutely pursue that relationship.
Right.
It makes complete sense. It makes complete sense that this girl will be swept off her feet for this older guy that took interest in her. And just Joaquin is meant to feel gross in every single scene.
Every single way.
I was going to ask you what feeling you felt when the movie was over, because for me it was gross.
If
there's a like Paul Thomas Anderson, it will make you feel something, and when the movie ends you're going to feel a certain way. This film, you feel a little dirty.
Definitely.
And that's him, and that's why he goes after a 16-year-old. That's
and I just feel like so many moments of this, there's a line that it makes you question certain things and how it's being presented. That definitely relates to the ending as well, and how the delusions of our main character play into that. But I would say in combination with some all-time acting performances, really makes it a one-of-a-kind film. We're going to go ahead and give The Master 2012 an 84.
An 84%, Vin. Okay.
Really great.
Big score. Wow.
I'm surprised it wasn't rated on the site already, or even in our files.
Was shocked. Honestly, was shocked.
Yeah.
84%, fantastic.
Yeah, I've always loved this movie. It was a great rewatch too. It took really great.
I'll tell you, it took me that second watch.
Sure.
I was curious about it. After the first watch, I was scratching my head a little bit and just like, did I get it? I just feel like I need to watch it again. And when I did watch it again, I do have a little bit of love for this film for sure. And 84% big. I love the way it looked. The color palette, the cinematography in it, phenomenal.
Yep. All those shots of the water coming off of the rudder of boats.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, I'm sure there's like maybe some symbolism in there, but just really, really gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
Absolutely. 84% for 2012's The Master. Excellent, Vin. It's a little bit higher than I thought you were going to give it.
Yeah.
I got respect. I mean, I know why you gave it, but...
No, absolutely. I feel you. I mean, honestly, this week was kind of especially with us kind of wrapping up his scores for the site, it was kind of a cold, hard look of like not that these films have to be in a ranking. I really don't want to see movies that way, but there was like a positioning of just like, okay, what's my final call on PTA's filmography? You know?
I did. I made my own list.
Oh yeah.
Because I was driving me crazy for the past 3 days.
Sure, you're like, what's the ranking?
And yeah, what's my own ranking?
Yeah,
and trying to
yeah.
guess what yours is going to be, kind of. I was shocked that The Master was not covered.
Yes.
I was like, I was so sure of myself. I was on the site already. And I was like, no, what? Am I spelling it wrong?
Yeah. Me too, because again, I just remember going to the theater, you know, opening weekend this came out, and so excited.
Yeah.
So excited. For
Yeah.
it. So, and like left, I was just like, what?
How many times do you think you've seen it?
I want to say that this is maybe third or fourth.
Yeah.
Maybe leaning towards fourth. Hard to tell, though.
Okay, well, let's see how high we can climb here.
And how low we can go.
I love that. That's a big score. Yeah. So this is his next film, and only 2 years later, so Master 2012, in 2014, he's already coming out with Inherent Vice.
Yep.
I don't know. We, at this time, were sitting down. This was the couch days. We'd get together and do scores.
Yeah.
And again, this was not rated. And
No, I've never seen this.
oh, that's what it was.
Yep, this was the first time. Yep.
Which, that's right. You mentioned to me that weekend. I couldn't believe it.
And honestly, I don't know why I never watched it.
I
Because
think it was like a quiet release
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
It didn't come out maybe after The Master, and what critics were saying about this one, it just... I mean, because listen, coming off The Master, it was the first film after
There Will Be Blood.
right, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
there definitely was expectations, you know.
you're right. That was almost like his blank check film, basically. You know,
Yep.
and well, up until this one, up until one battle after another. So anyway, it was just quieter because again, we were getting together at this time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure, and doing scores. Mm-hmm. So I've seen this twice. I saw the first time maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Probably around the time Licorice Pizza came out.
Interesting. Okay.
And boy, I'm gonna let you run with it. I cannot wait. I've been dying. I was gonna text you. I have been dying to just hear what you think about this film.
Yeah.
So Inherent Vice, 2014. Joaquin is back for the lead role, doing a lot of the work. He's in almost every single scene.
Yeah, pretty much.
He has a lot of the dialogue. He's in it a ton. So Inherent Vice at least set up the film, and we can take it back and forth.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen this one before, and honestly, I always thought it was just some kind of like stoner movie, like Fear and Loathing or Fun Hippie Times with Joaquin. And Tom, that's where you busted out laughing in the parking lot when I described it to you, because you watched this before me. And
Yes.
you were just like, no, not Fun Hippie Times with Joaquin.
Yeah, the word fun, and really like a good time romp.
Yeah, like a little light comedy.
I did. I started laughing.
Yeah, but for me, I in some ways I do kind of stand by that, because it is such a time capsule. It is odd to call this like a period piece, but I mean, it is trying to be a love letter to the decades it's surrounding, which is the 60s and 70s. But let's just take out fun times and replace it with very confusing mystery. And all I'll say after watching this, I'm sure glad we don't talk about spoilers, because I would not be able to give an accurate one-to-one explanation of the story.
I don't know if you could give out spoilers if you wanted to.
Yeah, true. It's maybe a little
Would they
bulletproof.
be spoilers? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Inherent Vice is a big hippie detective noir mixed with a sexy dark comedy that throws you down a rabbit hole of conspiracy with one of the least qualified main characters to get you out of it. It's also based on the novel by the same name by, once again, author Thomas Pynchon, who has some part to play in the inspiration of all the films this week. This is a direct adaptation, and I believe One Battle After Another is probably next in line, being based off of a novel he has called Vineland.
Yeah. I hear he takes some liberties there. It's it's almost like I don't know. It's inspired by.
Sure.
Not a direct,
Yeah.
let's adapt this thing.
Yeah. Set in the seedy LA of 1970 on the dot, Joaquin Phoenix plays Doc Sportello, a hippie private investigator for the counterculturalists that are quickly being brushed under the rug of society with the shift of the decade, either by the man or their own devices. Drawn into his latest case by his ex-girlfriend Shasta, played by Catherine Watterson, he begins searching for her missing husband, who, between high-profile real estate deals and shifty business relationships, lands Doc in a web of conspiracies that he is far too stoned to unravel. The biggest monkey on his back, however, is LAPD Detective Bigfoot, played by Josh Brolin, a hard-ass, flat-top stiff who's fine keeping Doc on a short leash so long as he can uncover a case that he can poach for his own. But this is not just one simple case, and whether unraveling it requires sober thought or more creative fuel, Doc will soon step into something he won't get out of cleanly. Folks, I hope you enjoy Joaquin Phoenix acting stoned, because it's nearly all of the comedy in this and based around his like bumbling detective work. And then I would say as a second piece to that, just downright absurd characters he comes across. Sometimes the perception of these characters are definitely swayed by how stoned he is. It's not done in a very literal way. It's not like a Harold and Kumar go to White Castles or something like that, where there's now like a tie-dye filter over the screen. This character, Doc, is just always smoking, and sometimes that's apparent, and other times you find out how stoned he is. So that's a lot of how the mystery unfolds as well, and for me, that was definitely the most frustrating part of this, because I just felt like I wanted this to be full dark comedy in the time period. Really, I would say it leans more into trying to give you a really spiraling and extensive mystery that in parts kind of just went over my head, honestly, in a lot of areas. Whether it's how it's delivered, the information's delivered, whether it's the characters comprehending the mystery, it was a lot that was just kind of like, It
was a big conversation that I had after the second watch. Because, again, I was like, I need a second watch. Watched this last week or whatever.
Yeah.
And after the second watch, I kind of feel the exact same way about it. I've now watched it twice and then done the Wikipedia deep dive to understand as much as I can. And like, sure, I get it. I get the basic plot, the synopsis, kind of what the broad frame of what happens in the movie. But at the same time, you do really feel yourself lost. And I kept on asking. It's just like, I don't know. Is it too heady? Does it put too much on the audience to figure out, or is it me? Am I just not smart enough? When I watched it a second time, folks, I texted Vin and I said, I'm just not smart enough.
Because I'm just not smart enough.
I told the same guy, I told my guy at Sherwin-Williams the same thing. And he likes Inherent Vice better than The Master, he said.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which shocked me, because I just couldn't.
Pretty drastically different movies as well,
But still, after the first watch, will make you scratch your head a little bit. Want to make you return to it. I wasn't too annoyed with Joaquin or frustrated with him. Just the bit of you're stoned hippie and everyone around him telling him that he's just a stoned hippie.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's the gag. It's his shtick throughout it.
Right.
But man, the way he just keeps on going down the hole of new development and new development and new development, and it connects but doesn't connect, and you're in this world. I do kind of now end up saying, I think Paul Thomas Anderson just puts too much on the audience to figure out. I think our hands need to be held a little bit more.
Right. Or at least have a more reliable character to lead the charge on this mystery. You know what I mean? I feel like so much comes from Doc, Joaquin's character in this, just like being incompetent.
He is right, but don't you think he's also kind of competent, or no? Were you not getting that?
By the end, he kind of slaps it together. Okay. But, I don't know.
He is a chaotic figure in a continually chaotic story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those mashing together leaves you just exhausted. I mean, a little exhausted.
A little exhausted.
It's 2.5 hours, by the way.
I agree. Yeah, I think for sure, just like on a surface level, I think that this movie was just too long. I feel like it needed to lean a little bit more into the dark comedy aspects and just trim the fat on like how sprawling, how expansive the mystery
It
becomes.
takes its time too.
Yeah.
A lot of the scenes take their time.
Yeah.
Were you laughing out loud? at all?
More so, not at like outright jokes that were said. More so, just at the subtle reactions of Joaquin. So, like when he would be confronted with yet another like absurd new character. Martin Short is a great example of this.
Yeah.
His reactions are just like, huh, like he's processing it for the first time as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of enjoyed those moments. So. It was a real back and forth for me because it was a frustrating detective mystery because our detective was not, really, really competent. And I feel like that is exactly why this works comedically. So I feel like it's just kind of in conflict there. So much of the comedy is just watching Joaquin just make his job 10 times more difficult by getting stoned, and not once does the gravity of the mystery change that. I mean, Doc seriously smokes joints like he's a typical noir detective smoking cigarettes, which just 100% does not help any situation he falls into. His notes are hot garbage. Like his notes are terrible. His personas that he like disguises himself he sticks out in any environment. He's not good at all. And it's just a miracle that he's able to uncover any mystery at all, no less like in multiple sprawling, interconnected mysteries that are in this movie. So.
That's why I kind of walk away from it saying he does figure things out. Like he does, whether he's stumbling into answers, which I think is what he's doing. He is somewhat getting answers or following along somehow.
More so than Josh Brolin's character.
Well, that's the point.
Josh Brolin's character is just a leech, basically. So. The line that this crossed for me, though, is that piecing together this spiraling mystery to the story with such a unreliable main character, that's where it kind of lost me in a pretty significant way. The dialogue here, I think, is worthy of some note. The near constant 60s and 70s slang, I would say, probably works a little bit better on page, but every time a new outrageous character was introduced, I just couldn't separate myself from whether they actually mattered or were they just a comedic beat of the story. In a lot of ways, I think Paul Thomas Anderson is walking in the footsteps of a lot of classic detective noir stories, both in its California setting as well as the larger kind of puppet string conspiracy just out of reach. I get a lot of the same vibes as, of course, the classic 1974's Chinatown. If you're looking for more of a modern example, even something like 2018's Under the Silver Lake.
Wow.
Both California-based, all three California-based, all kind of, again, conspiracy beyond just the mystery. Mm-hmm. I think both of those examples are also movies I don't particularly care for either, and it's where I kind of just didn't enjoy the substance of this story, and was more so just kind of along for the ride. So for that reason, I think I enjoyed this just much more as a comedy, way over its stumbling mystery that unfolds, and I think I was just able to appreciate the film also a bit more after our first Paul Thomas Anderson episode showed me what our director can do with the 1970s aesthetic. I mean, I feel like next to Boogie Nights, next to Licorice Pizza, this movie really thrives in its setting. And that's where I go back to, I mean, there's definitely some praise in, like, it doesn't help for your comprehension of the mystery, but the amount of 60s and 70s slang in the dialogue, whether that goes back to the novel or whether that's Paul Thomas Anderson doing that in the screenplay, that is worthy of some praise.
Yeah, along with the visuals, too.
Yeah.
He does put you in that time, in that place, for sure.
Absolutely.
And a movie that actually feels kind of smaller, because it's so much talking.
Yeah.
It's really just, okay, let's get these guys in a room, these guys in a room.
Yep.
Because it doesn't feel big. It doesn't feel as big as Boogie Nights, in my opinion. But the aesthetic of the era, you do feel in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, a lot of this just kind of thrives in what he clearly loves as his kind of favorite decade. I think its soundtrack has some pretty awesome choices, especially that opening title sequence with a can track. I mean, that's a nice touch. But realistically, I just did not enjoy this beyond its style and aesthetic. And I wouldn't really recommend it for anything other than that, honestly. We're going to go ahead and give Inherent Vice 2014 a 56.
A 56%. I think that's totally... It's a challenging movie.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that? Do you think it... I do kind of put it on Paul, where it's like, you needed to help us out a little bit more, man. Right?
Well, I think some of it is intentional in the sense that, like, it is a mystery, so the cards can't be laid out. But once the cards are kind of
when
laid
the movie's
out,
over, I don't... I don't want to be like, what?
Yeah. But I really would put this side by side with a Chinatown, with a Under the Silver Lake, just because it felt like that to me, and it felt like that to me because I don't exactly love those movies, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think, CD LA, or CD at least California so far, we got hardcore.
Yeah.
You know?
We got hardcore, is right.
Okay, 56% from Inherent Vice. I'm not going to give it a thing. I'm not going to give it a two shoes. I really struggled with this one, and I'm still struggling with this one. See, I think I liked Joaquin a little bit more than you. I think it's more so just the development of the story just had me so frustrated and confused and like, why are you doing this to me? kind of feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm left with.
Yeah.
But, okay, so 50...
It is an interesting head-to-head, what your guy said, that, I mean, they are back-to-back Joaquin performances working with the same director, and talk about polar opposite performances. So, very interesting as far as that goes.
And there's some great characters in this, like you said, just crazy characters. But as far as that, I was saying that dual performance that we get in some of his films, it really is on Joaquin's shoulders for a lot of it. He's the one driving this.
Oh, for sure. Then probably second to the narration, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you're hanging out with him for a while, for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you're definitely smoking with Joaquin, with JP.
All right, so let's jump into 2017 now, and this we were getting more into the scores.
Yes.
Just kind of following our timeline with this.
Yep.
And I remember people being excited for this film, but yet there was kind of trepidation, maybe.
Yeah.
And some of that came out of, what came out of the film outside of the movie, which was Daniel Day-Lewis, said that making the film and coming off the film, he went through like 6-month period of being quite depressed.
Yep.
After playing this character, and we know the Daniel Day-Lewis and how he gets into a character for months and months on end, and then he finally shreds it at the end of the film, and he was left depressed. And then Paul Thomas Anderson was like, "No, yeah, I kind of felt depressed, and this put me into depression too." And me personally, I've stayed away from this film the entire time.
Yeah.
I just don't want it. I don't need to be depressed. Daniel Day-Lewis this has just killed him. I mean, what's going on now?
Yeah.
And I love that we're covering this now because, next week or in 2 weeks we have Anemone coming out.
Yes.
And Daniel Day-Lewis' return with his son, directing the
I was
film.
actually just researching that to see if we could, is that going to be actually around us?
I think,
okay.
Yeah, we should be able to.
All right, well, fingers crossed.
Reviews are all over the place.
Really?
So I kind of we need to cover it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Everything from a masterpiece to 1.5 stars on Ebert.
On Ebert?
Yes.
Dang. Wow.
So
not a fan of coming out of retirement, huh?
I can't wait to talk about that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the subject matter of this one, I don't think necessarily struck us all that much. But you did watch this when it came out, correct?
Yeah,
this was the one that was rated this week.
Yeah, this was pretty hyped, honestly. I was super excited to watch this. But I'm with you as far as I didn't know what I was getting. So that first watch, I thought I was getting something very different from the trailers.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. And a lot of us are saying, okay, new P.T.A. Anderson movie, Paul Thomas Anderson movie coming out, and Daniel Day-Lewis. Holy shit, what do we have?
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
I mean, that was really the hype.
Yep.
So why don't you set it up? Like I said, I watched this weekend for the first time after staying away from it. It's super easy to get, folks. It's right on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right now. So if you want to watch it, like I said, it's right on there. So okay, set up Phantom Thread, and then we'll take it back and forth.
Well, this movie I was very excited to see when it released, both for the fact that it was the last movie Daniel Day-Lewis would act in before a soft retirement, which he didn't announce before the fact, but was, I believe, in kind of the discussion at some point before the film was released. But also for how mysterious the romance in this felt. I feel like the initial trailer for this sold me a very different way of looking at the film, which isn't really the case, and definitely left me with some disappointment when I first watched it. Jump forward to doing the podcast, though, and this movie has been, pun intended, a phantom in my recent memory. The last 2 years, the soft melodies of its soundtrack have had a place on my writing playlist. I mean, I've listened to this soundtrack more than most soundtracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And even before this episode, I found myself wanting to really revisit the film, revisit its kind of sad, gloomy, romantic tones of the film, and I definitely really enjoyed it a lot more watching it this time. I would say this may be like third time watching it, I want to say. Really, really walked away with a great experience on this one. It's without a doubt, though, a movie that benefits from the second watch. Kind of a theme, honestly, to all the movies this week. I think going into this movie expecting some sort of thriller mystery shoots it in the foot for how little actually happens in the plot, or at least kind of going towards that goal in theming. It's an expectation that I had personally when watching it back in 2017, because the trailer sold a much more, it seemed like a dark thriller.
You're right.
I thought it was something very, very different than what we got. Instead, my enjoyment of this now is all in its quiet moments, though. Not that there isn't a twisted center to uncover, but on repeat viewing, allowing myself just to exist in the period piece of it, that is what I really appreciate about this movie, and what I actually love about it. Phantom Thread is a dark, melancholic romance that wouldn't be half as captivating if we didn't have our lead actor giving as great as a performance as he does. Set in the posh dressmaking world of 1950s London, Daniel Day-Lewis plays the peculiar and particular Mr. Woodcock, making the finest dresses in the world. On holiday, he falls madly in love with a waitress named Alma, a breakout role for Vicky Krieps. Fleeing from a relationship he finds, quote-unquote, disagreeable, and falling head over heels with his new inspiration for his work. For Alma, her new love remains an unfolding mystery of outrageous preferences, but unlocking a life of refinement as she becomes his premier dress model and creative muse. But the fickle ways of Mr. Woodcock always shifts, and while Alma can't argue with genius, she still needs to love him on her own terms, whether that leads her down a dark path or not. I mean, the praise here, it's all Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is such a treat in this. I mean that, a treat. I am privileged to watch this performance from him. He just completely embodies the character, which is, nothing new for his method acting, infamous or famous, however you kind of want to see it. I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis gets a pass because he does produce so much stuff, but method acting has given us some weird stories as of late. Jared Leto comes to mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he pulls so much from this. I can only imagine also he pulled some of his experience when he first retired to study becoming a cobbler in Italy. Folks, in case you don't know, after his string of films in the 90s, the first of two retirements Daniel Day-Lewis takes is to study under a master Italian shoemaker before returning to acting in 2003 for Gangs of New York. Convinced by Leo to come back for it. So, very interesting. And I just feel like that experience, I don't know. I don't know what he would have pulled it from specifically, maybe this Italian master or not, but I feel like this acting performance is so informed, and I don't know where else to point to where it would be informed from.
I think it certainly helped. I wouldn't be surprised if he went off to London and did something fashion-wise and stepped into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I know Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to do this after reading a book on fashion in that time period. And, I mean, knowing how Day-Lewis gets into stuff, I'm sure he went and tried to get into stuff. It's a great story too when he was doing Last of the Mohicans and the set builders were there and he wanted to be, he was just camping along the river and he was camping outside to kind of be his character and he was trying to get the log cabin built and he was messing up and the guys were like, you're going to kill someone while trying to build this, you need to leave. So they kicked him off building the set because it's like, no dude, like you're not a builder.
Right. This isn't up to code.
He always is definitely giving it his all for sure. But just you saying it's a treat, you're lucky to be able to watch this performance of him.
Performance.
It's crazy good. He absolutely should have beat Gary Oldman for the Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Oldman won for Darkest Hour, Winston Churchill. And crazy how good he is in this. And it's the comparison game kind of sucks to do once in a while, but you want to compare it, at least I do, to There Will Be Blood.
Sure.
And There Will Be Blood.
I think that's fair, honestly.
He has explosive moments. He's more animated. This is such a reserved, quiet character. A lot of it takes place just in his house, this movie. You know what I mean? In different rooms of the house. And the way he does it is incredible. But I can't not... Vin, I love this movie. I was shocked how much I love this movie.
That's great.
I watched it. I immediately watched Lincoln. Finally,
whoa! I still haven't seen Lincoln.
And after Lincoln, I turned this on again.
Damn.
It was super late, so I fell asleep. I was up at 5:45 the next morning and continued to watch it and finished it. Watched it just twice in a row.
Wow.
And I fell in love with this movie.
Wow.
And it was in the first watch. And I do want to give a huge... I don't want to leave out Vicky Krieps at all.
Sure.
The two of... I was so in with the two of them. Utterly blown away by Daniel Day-Lewis, and just like... I don't know if this person ever existed, but he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it. Absolutely.
He created this guy, and it's like, holy shit, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. It's crazy how good he is.
It's such a captivating figure to watch. And like, I have no interest in dressmaking of the 1950s. I'm telling you, like, what it does to immerse yourself. I don't even like period pieces that much.
Right.
Period dramas. Man, this really just transports you into it.
For what this movie is supposed to be, I think it's doing it perfectly on every level.
Sure.
Of course he's doing great. I was just freaking out about how good the writing was. The writing was so sharp and so specific, but perfect.
Yeah.
The writing was really, really perfect. And Paul Thomas Anderson, I mean, look, his movie is great for writing. He has great dialogue and everything like that, but... He doesn't need long monologues or dialogue in this.
Right.
It's the little things. It's the little chirping things. I mean...
it's his little preferences.
And talk about... And that's why Vicky Krieps is so good. Fell in love with her in this. And the fact that, she was definitely much younger than Daniel Day-Lewis. She's coming out of... She has a bit of an acting career. But nothing crazy.
Yeah, I would consider this Breakout by no means the first.
Right.
Yeah.
Breakout for sure. But just to be sitting across a table and table after table after table from Daniel Day-Lewis, and she keeps up with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is that duo I was talking about where I think I liked watching these two better, if that's even possible. I liked watching them better than Joaquin and
Hoffman.
And Hoffman. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's how much this movie had me.
There is layers to the tension as well.
The subtlety.
Yeah.
And just the little eye movements or the facial expressions. It blew me away.
Yeah.
Blew me away.
That's fantastic. I love that you love this movie that much.
I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. I want to watch it a third time.
That's great.
I really do.
Wow.
I needed to watch The Master a second time. I needed to watch Inherent Vice a second time to get at least my feet somewhat set.
Sure.
This one was just out of pure love of loving this movie. I wanted to watch it again.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
That's
phenomenal. I'm right there with you. I love so much about this performance. His insanely large breakfast orders. I love that this character sews secret messages into his clothes. Just the incredible fashion. I mean, like, why can't I wear an ascot to bed? That's what I was asking after watching this. But most of all, I feel like the best moments with Daniel Day-Lewis come from his outbursts over noise or anything that distracts him from his work. I mean, there are just so many great lines around this. It's like you've rode a horse through the room, and it's just like... It's so ridiculous. My favorite, I think, is the tea is leaving, but the interruption is staying right here with me. Fucking phenomenal.
It is. No, it is. Do you have more? Because there's...
Well, the one actually going around as like a meme. I don't know if it's a meme between like film bros or not, but it's just when he just shoots daggers out of his eyes when Alma's teeth hits the spoon she's using. The subtle, like, I don't know, muscle flexes in his
so good.
In his
it's
brow
so
and his
good.
It's crazy.
This is Ian McKellen Gandalf eye acting.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
For
As
sure.
we always say, great acting comes out of the eyes or comes from the eyes.
Yep.
I just couldn't stop thinking about that. Dude is crushing it.
Yep.
I mean, it has you. First of all, my hot take on this is a Paul Thomas Anderson rom-com. This is as most. I'm serious. This is as most rom-com as we're gonna get.
Not Licorice Pizza?
Well, you would think Licorice Pizza, but I bought these characters so much in this film that I actually laughed out loud to this, where I didn't in Inherent Vice.
Wow.
Because of him, like, she's eating her oatmeal or whatever, and I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, stop. You are upsetting him. Please stop. Like, it's part thriller. I'm telling you, part rom-com.
Yeah.
And just in the subtlety of his acting and her acting is great. I just want to get into her character real quick.
Sure.
Because I think that's something that works so well that he can play off of, or why I like her and how she sells this character is the way she was written, where she's a novice in everything. She's almost a novice in life. Like, she enters into Day-Lewis's life literally stumbling in. She stumbles into his life being a klutz. And yet, I love how her character still has a confidence.
Yeah.
And a no, we're going to do things this way because I needed to go this way.
That's really her arc as well. She's assured of, like, what love she needs to receive.
She has it from the beginning and then carries through it. And that's what's great. That also helps with the tension building type thing. But it's wild. It's crazy how good it is.
That's so great. And I'm totally with you. I mean, like, as far as a head-to-head with Darkest Hour from Gary Oldman, I mean, that's a cartoonish
kind of hammy. It's good.
You know?
It's good.
It's good. But compared to this, where there's, like, so much baked into it, I mean.
Because I watched Darkest Hour then, too. Because I needed to. I was on the prowl. I was just like,
what is going on?
Yeah, why did Daniel Day-Lewis not win this? To your point with those lines, though, when he was just like, what am I, behind enemy lines right now?
I'm surrounded on all sides. It's so good. He's such a prima donna.
It's funny. He's such a baby.
Yeah, it's so great. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, like, a phenomenal character. It's just so enjoyable to watch. Like I said, with The Master, I think soundtrack really does a lot of lifting here. Composer Johnny Greenwood is once again primary collaborator with Paul Thomas Anderson. That begins all the way back with There Will Be Blood in 2007 and continues all the way through, even our new film this week.
Well, and you know that he does like so many music videos for them.
Yes.
He does a lot of Radiohead stuff. Haim and everything like that. But man, they're working close together. Constantly.
Yeah. It's a great collaboration. Without a doubt, though, this stands as my favorite. I mean, it is just a profoundly beautiful soundtrack that I've always been just, like, deeply affected by. I think, like I've said, with around how much I love this character with Daniel Day-Lewis. I have a pretty large bias because of how much I've listened to this every time I write my notes for reviews.
Man. I did not know that.
You
have this on vinyl?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You would know, I guess.
No. This would definitely be worth. No way. I think I might. And my question is just, like, is it on vinyl, period? You know what I mean? Oh,
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Especially anything Johnny Greenwood does.
Yeah.
Come on, radio guy, Radiohead guy, he's big enough.
Yeah. But I would say much like the soundtracks of If Beale Street Could Talk or Past Lives, I try not to let my love of the music overpower my thoughts on the film. Luckily, I do think, I genuinely think that the score serves a huge purpose in directing some of the more unusual tone of the romance. I feel like without this score, yes, it would still be like a gorgeous period piece with production choices, excellent costumes, selling us on all of that. But when it comes down to the darker twists a little bit that are layered into this, the annoyance, if anything, that is kind of the theme of their relationship, that's where the music really keys us into those tones. And I feel like that's where it really excels in. And in a similar way of what we were just talking about with The Master, that the music is doing something a little bit more to match itself, to be appropriate, but also to just elevate the experience as well. Yeah. It's a leverage to it.
It's in it a lot, too. Like, a lot of this movie has music in it. Yeah. And usually I like Paul Thomas Anderson, a director like PTA, where he's okay with things being quiet.
Sure.
One of my biggest issues with modern-day blockbusters is the music will not shut the up ever.
Yeah. Constant.
And it ruins it. It's like, let me be present with it.
Yep.
And that's PTA is great in that. But with this, it's very present through a lot of the minutes of the movie and totally acceptable, like totally works.
Yeah.
In every instance, basically.
Yeah. But, folks, this was the only movie previously rated this week, surprisingly. And I kind of just want to talk openly about to let you know where I'm coming from with this. It has a 73 on the site. And honestly, I think that's a pretty fair score for this, especially if you are going in expecting something bombastic. Maybe from the trailer, you're expecting something a little bit more twist and turny to it. And I think originally I had just a lot more expectations for the hints of thriller that I saw in that trailer, and then just left me wanting more. Now rewatching it, and fully recognizing some of that bias that I have tied to this, I can't deny just how much I have grown to love this movie in the years since. I think for your first watch, you might be in the same spot that I was. I'm glad to hear that you weren't, Tom. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was about 20 minutes in. I started to feel it. And then after halfway, I'm like,
damn.
I think I love this movie.
That's great. I would say both expecting and wanting something with some more bite in it. While that may not be there on your first watch, it is there to uncover. But my pitch now is all in the atmosphere that the film creates. The atmosphere between our two lead characters, the electricity between them, the tension between them, and really just holds one of my favorite performances from Daniel Day-Lewis. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and give Phantom Thread 2017. The old score was 73.
Yep.
We're going to bump that to an 82.
An 82%. Vincent Daly. This is a great score. This is a great score.
I feel
I'm
like
totally fine with
balanced
the
as
bump
well.
up. Yes.
You know, I didn't want to be too crazy with the bump.
No.
And I also don't
So
think
fair.
like it's like...
That's a big bump, by the way. But
yeah, that is. Yeah, that's a big bump. I'm trying to rationalize it. I'm trying to like calm it down. Almost
Listen.
10-point bump.
I can't tell you how much I love this score.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is why. This is okay. This is so close to being Two Shoes, Two Laces.
Whoa!
Which is like barely any movies have it.
Yeah.
But this, I'm still going to put it in.
That's so awesome.
It's Two Shoes and a Lace. It's
Yeah.
Two Shoes and a Lace. Do you know the score I had in my head in percentage terms is 82%?
Really?
For me.
That's
Yes.
great. That's great.
Because 82, after 83 or 4, that I'm approaching Two Shoes and Two Laces.
Yeah,
So that's how close I am. I'm
High
right
end.
there with you.
Yeah.
Truly locked in.
That's
Literally
awesome.
82 is in my head for myself.
That's great. And I'm so happy you enjoyed this.
Loved it.
I worried that even pre-watching this, because I've gone back and watched this, when I was going back to kind of like review it critically again, I was like, I don't know. I could see someone just like not clicking with the period piece aspect of it,
Sure.
but I feel like again that's where Day-Lewis is acting. He brings you into that world. His excellence in his role is where it's like. This sells you on
Right.
it. I don't care
Like,
about dressmaking, but like, I do after
right.
this movie.
If you
know?
couldn't give two shits at Joanne Fabrics,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to be thinking like, why do I want to sit down for this whole movie? I think it's his shortest film, but it's still like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
Something like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But that's what shocked me. Two reasons why I stayed out of it. Because the sadness that it gave the director and the actor.
yeah.
And we're talking garments.
Yeah.
And I don't care as much as that.
Who cares?
And then you're watching, it's just like, holy shit. But I want to go back to my comment on the script being just sharp and perfect. And along with that acting then too. And of course the directing style, everything's great. Like the directing is very cool, some very good shots. It's not, you can tell there's a special director behind the lens. But there's something in the beginning of their relationship and they're walking and it's really just body language they have. She says, Vicky Krieps' character says, whatever you do it gently, or whatever you, something like that. Whatever you do it gently, or yes. Based on his body language and how he just commands the relationship a little bit, and her, how she's just, again, so new and vulnerable. I kind of had that in my head, and then when she says it, that's where I'm just like, the script is perfect. He's nailing it, and he continues to do it for the rest of the film. That's what I mean by sharp, because it's not broad. We don't need, like I said, we don't need huge speeches and everything like that.
Right.
The Oscar moment, quote unquote, that people will grab and play. But it's just so dialed in and tuned. And no fluff. It's excellent.
That's great. I'm so happy. I mean, if there was one at risk this week, I feel like it was this one, honestly.
And you knew my thoughts on Inherent Vice.
Yeah. So, well, actually, yeah, that's true.
I was done. There was a slight part of me that I wanted you to walk in and be like, Inherent Vice, my favorite PTA film. I was like almost looking forward for us to disagree a bunch on it.
Right.
But I don't know if there's a lot of disagreement on that film.
yeah, I don't think so. I think we're on the same page. But no, and definitely on the same page with Phantom Thread. Give it a watch, folks. I mean, it's an easy watch on Netflix. So really,
Sink
really
into
great.
it. Yeah, just let it happen. And again, my hot take is if Paul Thomas Anderson was going to do a rom-com, a real rom-com, this is it. Not Licorice Pizza.
It's one of those things where it's just like the music does make a difference because you slot in like 90s rom-com music into this. Maybe it feels like way different. You know?
Man, maybe that should be a passion project, a special project for us. Some Soderbergh type thing we do. We go through and recut it, re-edit, put our own music in.
I love that. That's great.
Okay, because you know what? Like
bumbling
Licorice
like
Pizza. Yeah.
Like, boom,
There's the one she wants to go dancing.
Yeah,
and then so she walks out of the room. And the way he sets up the camera where he's just like half in the shot.
Yeah.
And he leans in, leans back, leans back in, and he's just trying to be like, what just happened? What did she just do?
Yeah.
It's got rom-com written all over it, but with just the slather of PTA all over it.
Yeah. Also, I mean, not to further gush about this film, but I mean, what a gorgeous shot when it goes back to that, flashes back to that scene, and they're dancing solo with all the balloons on the ground. I mean, just like,
It is a beautiful film.
Yeah.
And not huge set piece. That's another thing with, again, There Will Be Blood. You're in that sprawling desert. You have this scene with the oil rig setting on fire.
Sure.
Just the vastness, and you can really feel the heat in the desert on that one. And we're in his house a lot of this movie.
Yeah,
we're just sitting at we're sitting at a food table, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean, we're sitting down for a lot of meals with these people.
Big food movie, yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. I don't want to go. Okay.
Oh man.
So, folks, before we get to our last film, the one in theaters, we want to remind people that Vin and I are going off the value for value model here at the Daily Ratings. We are producer supported. We're not advertising supported or anything like that. It all comes down to support from our listeners. You're not going to see on the website any paywalls or tier structures where you need to give us a certain amount of money to get even more content or a certain amount of content. Everyone's on their own finances. Everybody's week to week is different financially. And most importantly, everybody might be getting a different kind of value when they come here at the Daily Ratings. So that's why it's the value for value model. If you're finding what we're doing here valuable, you head to thedailyratings.com, go to the donations page, and you can go ahead and send us whatever amount of value you're getting. You can peg whatever monetary value, big or small, what you have to offer this week, what you don't. If $500 is not a lot of money to you, we appreciate the donation. But if $5 is kind of a lot of money to you, we really appreciate the donation. And when you send in that donation, you become an actual legitimate producer of the Daily Ratings. Be sure to send in a producer note along with that donation. Your note to us can be questions, comments, critiques, ask us anything, say anything. Right here in the producer segment, we'll actually address it, we'll read it, we'll bring you into the conversation because that's what being a producer is all about. You will see some set donations there, like buy Vin a movie ticket, the Gump Club, become a Godfather. But again, it's a big value for value button there. So you click that, and it's whatever amount of value that you're getting from us. Are you stopping by once in a while when it's just a singular movie that you care about? Or are you coming by every single week? You're checking into the website constantly. We look at that as value in your pocket. So again, can you send us value back in our pocket? If you'd like to support us in any way, please, again, go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab. All right, Vin, and now we get to the big one in theaters, shot in VistaVision, the second film to do so in 60 years, basically. Last year we had The Brutalist, which basically shot the entire thing in VistaVision.
Yep.
And not that, there's only 3 screens in the country that actually can show true VistaVision, but basically it's a different type of format where the film is vertical, not horizontal. Or is it horizontal, not vertical?
Horizontal, yep.
Yes. But basically, it gets bigger, better, more detailed view of the picture. Paul Thomas Anderson said that he actually played around with it doing a music video for Radiohead. And what he said was, I really liked how it worked in close-ups and like wide shots. It works for both. And there's great detail in the picture and everything like that. So anyway, I just suggest go see it in the best theater around you.
Yes.
Try to go to the loudest and try to go to the biggest, whatever is in your backyard. We definitely like Dolby near us.
Yep.
The sound was phenomenal. I know,
really great.
I know it's going to be more quiet, in those normal theaters, but I still think he ratchets up the sound very purposely in some spots, which just hits so well. Anyway, it's one battle after another, Vin. Take it away. We talked about the critic praise that what it's getting in the beginning of the movie, or in the beginning of the show, because it is getting a lot of critical praise, and I kind of want to maybe
temper expectations a little bit?
Yeah,
because, you hear things like Steven Spielberg watching this 3 times,
Even more. This is already saying this is probably going to be the best movie of the entire decade. This is the best movie I have seen in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
When was the last time that, people are going back, we haven't had a movie like this come out and have this kind of impact, and people are going like decades back. Not saying we didn't like the film, but I'm glad we can put our stamp on it.
Yeah, and when I hear that type of stuff, I feel like just asking those people, like, Hey, what'd you think about some of the later stuff in this movie? Because I was scratching my head. I'm just like, wow, unexpected.
Right.
But, folks, it's finally here. The film has been hyped beyond hype, like I said at the very start of the episode. I found myself, it's funny that you bring up The Brutalist because of the VistaVision, but I found myself kind of reflecting on last year's experience with The Brutalist, and well, this movie didn't take half the effort to see it and go out and see it. We had to drive for The Brutalist. A new Paul Thomas Anderson film receiving so much praise, it's just hard not to walk into this with some level of expectation. I really feel like that's the only thing that I would have preferred a little bit different in watching this movie. The movie was so unique and so unexpected in so many ways. I wish I just could have gone in a little less hyped, around it.
We had a weird moment in the parking lot walking in.
Yeah.
Because we were like, okay, new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. And both of us were like, I'm
not excited.
I want to make myself not excited.
Yeah.
But how can I not be excited for the same thing? Because a PTA movie, it's a bit of an event.
Yeah, absolutely. It was somewhere in between excited and numb. Numb maybe because of the excitement.
And nervous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you want to like the film.
Right, exactly. So, personally, I was just hoping for something pretty good to salvage 2025 a bit, but what we got was just, again, far more unique and unexpected in nearly every ounce of the film. I mean, this was really a one-of-a-kind movie, from tone to performances to even raw entertainment value. This movie didn't come close to disappointing me, and I'm happy to say that it is worthy of some serious hype. One Battle After Another is a tough movie to summarize, however. My best shot is that it's an absurdist, terrorist, dark comedy. that's kind of my elevator
That's pretty
pitch.
good.
Yeah.
I think
because it's got absurd elements for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, this is definitely the most I laughed in a Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And Anderson wants you to. I listened to a few interviews with him, and I think he kind of put it on. If he had to boil it down, I believe his words were, what happens when revolutionary groups collapse in on themselves?
Yeah.
You know?
There is some slapstick to it, for sure, yeah. It's pretty intense at times. It has a surprising amount of heart, which was kind of unexpected, especially in its second half, and more than a few parts of it will have you wanting to see it again for yourself. That's kind of where I land. Exactly on your note, Tom, of just like, this deserves a second watch just because
it's kind of the rule of thumb for PTA.
Yeah, I think that's the theme. Maybe that's the DNA
literally.
of PTA.
Unless it's Inherent Vice, maybe a third watch.
Yeah, exactly. Once again, this is adapted from a novel, the 1990 novel Vineland, by this episode's favorite author, Thomas Pynchon. Out of all of his work adapted this week, though, I found myself the most interested in this for more reasons than I can get into, spoiler reasons as well, but mainly to see how its political issues are portrayed. One thing I want to talk about just in this summary section is that while One Battle After Another has a lot to do with politics, a lot to do with, analogies of hot button issues today, such as around immigration, I have a hard time calling this story inherently political, considering just how much it concerns itself with personal vendettas, blood feuds, as the driving force of its story. When I was really thinking back to this, yes, the elements. I mean, it's a domestic revolutionary group. It's obviously going to be political, but the actual movers of the plot, the movers of the story, and the arcs of our characters aren't inherently political. And I feel like that's where, if maybe you look at this movie and you say, not for my gut right now, I would say, rest assured, it's much more about these characters, and you get some phenomenal performances on those.
Yeah, I think there is a big distinction of our characters are very political. This movie is not very political.
Right.
This is showing political people and a downward spiral for everyone who's involved.
Yeah, everyone.
And also, what's some of the most comedic takes can we take from here?
Absolutely.
I want to go back from what I said in the beginning of the show, too. The fact that he started writing this in 1999 it's very cool.
Yeah.
Because this is something coming from something different. I mean, a lot of the stuff, he does say that, the Weather Underground was very inspirational for part of this story.
Sure.
But the way it's somewhat topical, and times don't change. Times do change, and yet they don't at all. And it's kind of cool. But it is also a thing of very political characters, not very political story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like even when we've talked about this, for some reason, maybe not for some reason, but Civil War comes to mind with Alex Garland. I feel like that even is more on the political spectrum than what this is really about. This is truly about the characters. Just something I wanted to kind of talk about because I couldn't fit it into other parts of this review. Setting the stage for this feud, though, this vendetta, are once again the domestic revolutionaries, the French 75. Great name, by the way. Freedom fighters on the Mexican border aiming to take down the establishment and willing to make a name for themselves while doing so. Making one hell of a team leading the group is the duo of Tiana Taylor and Leo DiCaprio, dangerous lovers that feed off of the ideals they bring into action, and while doing so, gaining one seriously obsessive enemy, Colonel Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn. We will get back to Sean Penn. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I originally wrote a joke like while this movie, I was prepping to get to see this movie. It was probably in the parking lot. And I was like, I'm not too excited to see Sean Penn, especially since he voiced a character in the Angry Birds movie. That was just like so like, no, Sean Penn, I'm a fan of Sean Penn now. I kind of was before, but like.
For sure. I mean, he has a long career. Mm-hmm. He even came out and said he was kind of coasting for the past 15 years. He said this.
Wow.
15 years. He goes, hey, I like the roles that I took before.
Yeah.
But he kind of fell in love with acting, basically, is what he was trying to say.
Wow.
And then he did this movie, and he's like, he's back in it. Wow. He goes, he missed that feeling, and he wants to get back into it and start to take his roles a little bit more serious now, which was great.
Yeah. Great. But the cause means so much more to Tiana, even over starting a family with the man she loves. And so we see a huge 16-year jump in the story, showing the aftermath of her decisions and the family Leo struggles to raise. Colonel Lockjaw hardly forgets his time hunting them down together, though, and suddenly is given a reason to finish the job, finally closing the noose on the French 75. I would say for the first hour or so for the film, and we talked about this in the parking lot right after, I was completely sold on all the hype. I feel like this first hour, just like the perfect inciting incident, the perfect kickoff to things. The trio of DiCaprio, Taylor, and Penn, they were just incredible and made for just a great spark to kick off this story. I think as it relates to the meaty runtime on the film, the worth itness to check it out and maybe actually go the extra mile and see it in theaters like we're talking about, even the pacing of the story, I cannot praise this more than calling that first third of the movie just absolute magic. I think that first hour is just like, man, it made me want just like a whole like 3 other movies around the French 75. You know what I mean? I just loved how like it was just such a electric pacing to it to set it all up. There was just no fat on it. Gave us interesting insight to these characters. And like many of the great vendettas set up on screen, that inciting incident in our intro being so strong, that's really what's going to hook you for the later part of the runtime.
It's super important.
Yeah, I've actually
spent some time in that.
Yeah, I've talked to 2 people saying that they've been kind of turned off by the runtime on this. What is it, 2 hours, 40?
It's 2:41.
2:41.
It's tough, man. Even like I would have saw if it was for whatever reason, if this was 2:25, I would have went again last night.
Yeah, you're right.
When you cross over 2.5, you are asking an audience for something. Now you're talking to a guy who loves Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
But I can sit through the Lord of the Rings, and all of a sudden it's over, and I'm just like, it's nothing. It's nothing. I mean, whatever. But
you also have the extended cuts to like, It's not as long as that.
No, I'm done with that's the thing. I'll watch the extended cuts. This movie does, in my opinion, feel long. I'm not saying I would cut things, but it does feel long.
Yeah,
you know, it does. You know, a story is told for sure. It's a big story that has to be set up, undergo, and resolve.
Yeah, and that's not even like there's this time jump that happens in the story, but like there's a lot of setup just to set up all the pieces that we're going to touch base with later on down the road. You know, so
I'm glad you said that about. I'm glad you felt that way in that opening third, that first 45 minutes, whatever. I didn't feel that way, and I think it's because of expectations or. I was waiting to get to the stuff that was in the trailer, and that was a big mistake for me because I was You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
waiting for that moment, and
You
we
were
do
conscious
get it.
of like, well, this is not going to be the case for the rest of the movie. So where's that coming?
Right. When is the flip going to happen?
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, we do get a flip, but that first part is so integral, and that's where a second watch for me, I think, is going to make a big, big difference.
Yeah.
I can kind of drop the no. Sit down and watch it from minute one, and you're in. You're actually in it. You don't need to wait 45 minutes to get in the movie.
Sure.
You are in it when it starts.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that you right away off the bat, we're digging it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really boils down to my love of heists and watching this cool ass terrorist group. I mean, like there's a certain degree of lovability that happens to it, and obviously they're doing extreme things, but there's a rhythm that happens in this first third that it just makes it so satisfying, and that's where I would say again that runtime's a little intimidating. I would even say there might be even some stumbles later on in the story that I don't love, but it's a story and script with an incredible kickoff. And I would say to anyone that is maybe a little bit iffy about watching it, really just watch that first third, and I feel like you're going to be hooked. Whether you love it as much by the end, that's up to the air, but...
And it is the first third. That's the thing. It's not going to be the first 15 minutes in this car crash. The car crash is going to get you in.
Right.
Learn the characters. Know why we're here.
Yep.
The setup is super important to the film.
Absolutely.
I feel like comedy... The fact that this is basically his most comedic movie out of the 10, this is number 10. Out of the 10 he's done, I feel like this is the one that needs to be the most comedic. And I think it helps you a lot enjoy it and get you through it. It helps the runtime.
Yeah.
And it sells a little bit of the first. Like you said, they do crazy things. Some of the characters' names are ridiculous. The bombasticness of everyone. The silliness of Lockjaw. It does. It grips you in a certain way that his other movies can't, because this deserves the humor, actually.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe even that lightens the load a little bit. It does. Creates some satire to it a tiny bit, to take it a little bit lightly. The acting performances, though, is where all my praise is. For this trio specifically is where all my love for the film is. I've truly never seen anything from Tiana Taylor, but holy shit, she is one badass bitch in this. She stole the show for me. Not only was she key to these like heist-like scenes just being my favorite visually, rhythm-wise in the movie, but it was such a complicated role, having this character kind of wear her flaws on her sleeve and maybe even recognize them as flaws, but be so entrenched in her beliefs, in her ideals behind, what she dedicates her life to, and how that creates conflict even with the people she outright loves and wants to spend her life with. Just such an interesting character, really, really great. Leo kind of has two stages to his acting in this because of the time jump, but I think is honestly really great in both. I love his single dad shtick in this. It is unexpected. He does, I feel like, a refined version of the comedy we get in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Obviously, very different characters, because that's like a character that becomes... I don't know, his ego gets in the way of who he is, kind of like a bumbling fool himself. Here, there's no ego, but there's still like this like duty to his daughter, and if anything, like, I don't know, it was an incredible character that you can just root for. I feel like Leo's character in this was just like everything you want out of a dad character, even though he's part of like some real bad stuff. Right. he's definitely got a lot of flaws,
Paul Schrader doesn't think so. Paul Schrader said he was just wanting Leo to die the entire time.
Oh, really?
Literally, yeah.
Wow.
But I'm on your
Paul
camp.
Schrader, the writer.
Yeah, and director. Paul Schrader, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, again, like I said, every director has to sign off on this film in one way or another.
Right.
But no, I mean, I like Leo more than I thought I was going to like him. I thought we were going to get typical Leo, kind of. And I even think that I like Leo a little bit more than you, is safe to say. Because you're just waiting for, okay, we know Leo. He's going to have his Leo freak out, whatever.
I'm glad you said it for me.
He does take up two roles. Like, you're right.
Yeah.
We do have a transformation with the character. I do really like the arc of the character. That could have been the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
Act 2 of this film, I think, is where I'm settled in, and I'm loving this.
Yeah.
And Leo is just, I don't know, he's great. I like the way he plays this dad. His incompetent competency, again, he does, it's a little bit of Joaquin in Inherent Vice, for sure.
Yeah.
Just totally surprised of how
Yeah.
much I enjoyed seeing him on screen, to the point where I was bummed when he wasn't. And I think that, again, detracts from me. I walked out of this really liking this movie.
Yep.
I think after I watch it a second time, I'm going to just absolutely love this film. But part of the reason why I wasn't overly enthusiastic walking out was, I think, because I wanted more Leo.
Yeah.
And I just, again, maybe the first 45 minutes didn't get me right away because I was expecting something else. And kind of what I was waiting for, like I was talking about with the trailer, was I wanted Leo in the bathrobe talking to his daughter.
Yeah, right.
And when we get that, I'm in. I'm loving it so much. Or Leo with Sensei, who's Benicio del Toro. Great. He really is.
Really
almost.
great.
I think he surprised the both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Some shades of why can't I think of the Marty film? Man, why am I blanking on the Marty film? Indian gangster, Indian Goodfellas. That's
Indian Goodfellas?
Martin Scorsese's last film.
Oh.
De Niro.
No, I have it. Your favorite movie last year?
That's fucking
Something of the Harvest Moon? What the f- is it called?
Killers Under the Flower Moon.
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon, that's right.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I was disappointed with Leo in that one.
Okay,
I think Leo was miscast in Killers.
So
Sorry about
maybe
that.
keep that in. Maybe keep that in. So no, I'm with you there in the sense that in that movie I kind of wanted more from Leo. I'm with you in the sense that like I want even more of him in this as well.
You wanted to see him on screen, or you wanted more from his acting?
See him on screen a little bit more.
Oh, you had that with Killer. I did not have that with Killer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it does have that thing where it's just like, I want to see Leo. But I was kind of annoyed with his character, actually, in that film.
Sure.
This one, totally opposite. I'm like in 100% more.
Interesting. I guess before I move on to Sean Penn, any notes for Tiana Taylor?
Great to be around. I mean,
and also complete unknown.
a wild woman.
Yeah,
I think she's a little known.
Oh, okay.
Not crazy known, but yeah, she has been in some things, I think, or just in... Was she a musician, too?
I don't know.
I know. People knew her name.
Okay.
Because as I'm listening to reviews and also listening to interviews of the main cast, I just know she had some sort of presence. Who didn't was the girl that plays Leo's daughter.
Yes. And good. Very good.
This is her first movie.
Wow.
And she does very, very well. I mean, and Paul Thomas Anderson, they did go through a bunch of different people. He said, how specific it needs to be, the type of character that it's written for.
Yeah.
She knocked it out of the park. Why can't I find her name?
Kind of a similar thing to what you were saying with Phantom Thread, though, where it's just like, this is an intimidating breakout role because of who you're surrounded by, acting-wise.
Oh my gosh! I know you're just with Leo the entire time.
Yeah.
Rebecca Hall. Then she's not Rebecca Hall. Who am I thinking?
Regina.
Yes, Regina.
Falling
Hall.
apart.
Rebecca Hall.
Yeah.
No, but Chase Infinity is the actress's name who plays Leo's daughter, and very good, shockingly good. Yes, being amongst all these big actors. And coming from nowhere. I mean, plucked from obscurity and just, fantastic.
Yeah. Really great. But,
you can jump to Lockjaw.
Okay, holy shit. Sean Penn is insane in this. There is no doubt in my mind this man will sweep Best Supporting with this role. I mean, I don't think anything comes close. I mean, granted, we got
awards season coming.
Exactly. We have the wave of festival films and whatnot, but this was such a surprise. I mean, if anything, to the point that I was like, again, I was ready to crack jokes at Sean Penn's acting career before watching this movie, and was like, no, like he was a phenomenal villain in this. His character on the surface is not complicated, and if anything, I feel like that's where he works so well, because his character's goals are so clear cut and so laid out for us, but. Wow, writing-wise, pacing-wise, if this isn't a lesson in making your villain felt on screen, this is, got to be my go-to example of keep your villain in the foreground. Keep your villain felt.
Ever present.
Yes, exactly. The amount of times he comes face-to-face with our characters in a scene is insane. This is the polar opposite of an armchair villain where he's sending out henchmen and, you have to wait until the finale to really see the real meat of this interaction. No, this guy was boots on the ground. even long into the story when he has henchmen and a whole military force at his disposal, he is the driving force of his own character. He is always directly felt because he is directly present. He is the one present in it. There is a scene early on in that first establishment that he basically just walks up to Leo in a supermarket, and like my jaw was on the floor. I was like, this dude is the chief villain in charge. Like
Vince starts laughing, he hits me, and he's like, no henchman, no henchman. He's just taking care of it himself.
I'm so thrilled with this. Like, please take a lesson. Anyone that is even relatively writing a villainous person, like, look at this character. This is how you make it felt to the audience. I seriously, I really, I don't know. I mean, like, I want to watch other Sean Penn movies after this. This was a incredible role for him. It's a slight joke, but also a slight desire that the only other person I could see filling this role is George C. Scott. Like, it's that level of a performance.
Okay.
And I feel George C. Scott, especially like from like Dr. Strangelove, his somewhat satire performance.
I've heard comparisons with this. Yes.
I feel like this is, and that's a praise to
that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's a huge praise to Sean Penn that I'm saying George C. Scott. Like, it's at that level of a performance.
I have to say, halfway through the movie, I was like, man, he wasn't talk about a guy who just wants to act and thought the character was going to be like, this is going to be a crazy guy to act. You know what I mean? But, you know, he's making himself look like an idiot. Like, I don't think there's a lot of actors that would want to take this character on because, like, I don't want to look like this on screen.
Right. Yeah, kind of like he's a bumbling fool himself in ways. You know?
He's physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
And you'd think Sean Penn, an actor that has, you know, maybe some stories about him that he does like have an ego. He has like written to Trey Parker and Matt Stone when they were doing Team America World Police, and he was like, take me out of it. You know what I mean? Like, there are stories around Sean Penn having an ego.
Interviewing El Chapo.
Right. Yeah. And right. His old documentary sides and shit like that. And then this comes along and it's just like, wow. Total respect.
I always had respect for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be annoying. He could just like, sometimes just like, I just shut up. Why don't you just make good movies, please? Where are you? And I think he has the same feeling now. He was in this movie and then literally, I mean, he's like, I'm going to start doing better like, acting again and better things.
He's hooked.
I always came out of, like, coming out of their, Into the Wild, which he directed. I just always had a big appreciation for him.
Sure. Fair. Just an unexpected role. I expected him to play it like an armchair villain, that we primarily got interactions with henchmen, and then he was he's a big hammy payoff at the end.
Down to the way he walks is so funny.
Yeah, wild. But that's really where, like, my main praise is. I want to talk about music, but any other thoughts around acting or?
No, I just don't want to forget about Chase Infinity again. I really do think she's in it more than I thought.
Yeah.
Leo's daughter, again, based on the trailer, which is just nothing, you know, it's 2 hours and 41 minutes. A trailer can only do so much.
Right.
But she was just in it more than I thought. She held her own and really appreciated that, because when we have a younger actress in who hasn't been in anything before, it's a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
And crushes it.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick note on the music. I feel like the music was pretty interesting to me as well. Not exactly in a listenable sense, but more so for the mood it captured. The whole score has like some really scrambling abstract jazz, marching drums in it, very militant at times. Sounds like, I'm going to make a movie comparison and a video game comparison. It sounds like Birdman, honestly, the type of where the abstract jazz of it adds a weird rhythm to the movie. Also reminds me of the latest Zelda games, believe it or not. Those Zelda games have very abstract music composition from time to time.
We'll have to believe you.
Yeah. I know. That's what I was like, let me ground you in one example, so then I can make another.
Would you say that I couldn't even lock down what the score was, because I felt like the music had phases in it?
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, I was just like, oh, the music just changed a little bit. I like this.
Yeah.
So I thought that the range of what we were dealing with, or even just the instruments used, was various throughout the movie, which I appreciated, because there's also so many different things going on in the movie.
Sure.
And then just a slew, not a small amount, of just great needle drops.
Yes.
Too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like that's where Greenwood definitely excels. If anything, again, where we talked about with Inherent Vice, like that's as far as the licensed soundtrack goes, like really top
Crushing
notch.
it there too, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really have more thoughts on it until I listened to it stand alone. And that's why I said, I mean, like, it's on a soundtrack of its own, it's not as listenable. I was able to just kind of hear it on its own and appreciate where that was playing into, scenes with the French 75 versus Lockjaw, you know, how that changes from moment to moment. It's also a minor note, but there's this secret tone device that's used in the story to find other hidden members of the group. Initially, I thought it was kind of lazy writing, honestly.
Yeah.
By the end, I really loved it. It's a super minor note, but just something kind of interesting as far as like what kind of scenes it crafted when this almost, I don't know, not MacGuffin, but like a magical device. How it crafted like some really important scenes of when it was coming together. Overall, I thought this was a movie that really understood tension, how to crank up the tension and when to release it. And in just so many ways, that title takes on a literal meaning. Sean Penn being as up close and personal to the stakes of the story is a great example of that, and reminds me of the qualities that I love in movies like The Revenant, where you can almost visualize the threat pushing the plot along. You can kind of feel and see the structure of the story and how the threat actually makes a difference to that, how it's the game changer. This is also encapsulated in a great single scene towards the end where PTA gives us one of the most visually satisfying car chases I've seen in a while. I mean, this was a cool scene.
Yeah.
Really, the biggest area of the story that lost me were just how comedic elements were woven in the story, simply because I just was enjoying that tension and the stakes so much. I'm very happy to say that Paul Thomas Anderson knocked it out of the park with this, though, and I can't wait to see the movie again. We're going to go ahead and give One Battle After Another an 81.
An 81%. An excellent score. I think so deserving of that score. I can't wait to see it again, too, because I think I'm almost anticipating how much I'm already going to like it.
Sure.
I just needed more time with it, and I need to give it another go. 81, I think, is also really good because it does tamper expectations, because if you do go online, the praise is really nuts. Like, people are going
really
nuts, and I think people are going to have a little bit buyer's remorse going through the years coming ahead. And
in the statements.
I don't know what it is about critics. Maybe they're just so thirsty for something as well, and they feel like they need to be overly enthused. Again, this is...
It gets eyes, an outrageous reaction, brings in clicks.
But everyone's reaction is the same. It's more so, I don't know. People are excited about it.
Yeah.
This movie's definitely the most expensive. It's anywhere between, I've heard, as low as $115 million to as high as $180.
Wow.
But then I get somewhere really between $130 and $175 is how much it was to make. So I also think there's this push kind of to make sure people actually go to the movies and try to turn a profit on it. But regardless, we definitely think you should see this in a movie.
Yes.
And I'll reiterate how I started it. Go see it in the loudest, biggest theater near you, whatever that is. Because just, there's only so many specialties theaters out there.
Right.
But do your best to at least get some good audio or whatever and sink into it, because it's deserving of it, and you will be rewarded by it as well. Benicio del Toro, by the way, very good. Very good role for him to take, too. Nothing so crazy, and yet when Sensei is on screen, you're loving it. He's crushing it. And you can't beat that. I love that Benicio had this role and the way it was done.
It felt natural to him, too. It
Absolutely.
felt like actually Benicio, like the man.
And the buddiness of him and Leo working together. It's like, give this movie. Can I have this movie, too? This buddy, weird cop movie?
So many moments of the movie could, I almost wanted as its own kind of spin-off or something like that.
And the whole thrilling chase aspect to it as well. I mean, the different chapters of this movie just really hit in different ways. And I don't think, although you're like, I love the first act, I think I like the second one, there's not the game of, what part was your favorite? Well, which part do you love? It really is still a cohesive story that wraps it all up at the end, too. And I don't know. It's it is an experience. It's an experience to go and watch it.
But the Benicio bit is exactly what I mean, where I kind of compare it to a little bit shades of how tension is built in, like, The Revenant, where it's just like, there's someone on your tail, and you're also chasing someone. There's almost like brackets of how the plot is moving along because of the tension.
Right.
I mean, I love that movie, and I definitely love this movie as well.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And I do... We're talking about it a lot. I don't even feel like we're talking about actually what goes on too much because go and experience it.
Yeah.
Honestly, just
true.
go.
It's true.
So, okay, all right. Well, we have to go through our list now, Vin, because you have your definitive PTA list.
Yep.
I think we should just get mine first.
Yeah. I'm fine with just yours, period.
Your name's on the show. So we'll just start with
go to the website.
And by the way, I've only seen... I'm yet to see Punch Drunk Love
okay.
Magnolia.
Interesting. Okay.
Because Magnolia, I just feel like that might be... It could be top 3 Paul Thomas Anderson after the 8th watch, and I finally realize it 10 years from now or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I need some time on that one. I don't know. And I haven't seen Punch Drunk Love just because, sometimes movies fall through the cracks. So here's my top 8 Paul Thomas Anderson, starting with number 8.
Yep.
Inherent Vice. Number 7 is his first feature film, Hard 8.
Yep.
Then I have Licorice Pizza as number 6. And to me, we're in good film territory now.
Absolutely.
Licorice Pizza, like I said, I watched the other day as well for a second, or maybe a third time. Licorice Pizza, number 6. Number 5, The Master. Number 4, One Battle After Another.
Okay.
Number 3, Boogie Nights. Number 2, Phantom Thread.
Whoa!
And 1, There Would Be Blood.
Holy shit.
I need to watch Boogie Nights again, too.
Okay, fair.
Have only seen it once, and something tells me I'm going to watch that again. I've seen it 1.5 times. So, but after I watch it again and sit down, it probably will take the number 2 slot.
Sure.
I just can't tell you how much of a Phantom Thread high I am on right now.
That's so awesome. So I love that.
Second favorite PTA film right now is Phantom Thread.
I love that.
Against all odds.
Against all odds is right.
Woo, if it was a snake, it would have bit me, man. I'll tell you. Okay, so the definitive Vincent Daly PTA list as it goes. Number 10 is Punch Drunk Love with the 43%.
Which I will say, a little harsh, just because I think back to Philip Seymour Hoffman in that movie, and he's really great in that movie. So.
Well, 43%, still not 10th film. Number 9, you have Hard 8.
Yep.
So my least favorite was Inherent Vice. You have Hard 8 with a 49, and then Inherent Vice at number 8 with a 56.
Okay.
And then I think same thing with you. Then we get into actually just like, oh, this is good. I'm going to return to these.
Yeah.
So your 7th is Licorice Pizza. Number 6 is Licorice Pizza 66. Magnolia with a 72. One Battle After Another with an 81, Phantom Thread with an 82, The Master with an 84, Boogie Nights with an 85, and There Will Be Blood with a 92.
That's a great
PTA has some amazing movies. And I like how close you are. One Battle After Another and Phantom Thread, 81 and 82.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then Master and Boogie Nights, 84 and 85.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, listen.
Which basically just means,
I mean, all of them, like a very, very high caliber of movie. I mean, this was a great week. Absolutely love it.
Loved it too, Vin. It was really great watching these, talking about Phantom Thread and all these others. What was, by the way, did you watch Phantom Thread before One Battle After Another? Your revised score. When did that take place?
No, that was the first thing I watched this week, actually.
So One Battle After Another, were you just like, I got to take it below? Or just a feeling?
There was a little bit of consciousness of like, where are the rankings for sure.
Yeah.
But I really do feel like with One Battle After Another, it wasn't below an 81, and I needed more time with it to get it above an 81.
Right.
It really did jump out to me.
Man, excellent. Vin, thank you so much. Anything to add? Anything? Roll credits?
No, we are good. We're good.
We are good. We'll roll credits here. Once again, folks, real quick. The Master, 84. Inherent Vice, 56. Phantom Thread, 82. One Battle After Another, 81. Phantom Thread, 2 Shoes and a Lace. Don't forget about that. Folks, thank you so much. Coming back week after week. We love hanging out with you. We'll be back here on the news show on Tuesday. And as always, we'll be right back here with Vin next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.